Welcome to News Desk on SiliconANGLE TV for Tuesday, May 14th, 2013. I'm Kristen Folletti. For the second year in a row, SiliconANGLE will be broadcasting exclusive content from Google's development conference, Google I/O, in San Francisco this week. Join us now to discuss Google's place in the tech ecosystem is Wikibon senior analyst Stu Miniman. Hi, Stu. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Kristen. Good to be here.
As we know, Google I/O is a developer conference. Stu, can you explain what a developer conference is and how it's different from a typical technology company user conference?
Sure, Kristen. So if you look at EMC World last year that were at, or SAP Sapphire or ServiceNow Knowledge, what it is the vendor that makes a product and their partner ecosystem really talking to the end users that use their product. Google I/O is very different. As you said, it's a developer conference. What Google does is it builds platforms. So while most people think of Google from its search capability or from the Android phones, they've really built a whole lot of products that people develop software and integrate and work their products with. So not just Android, Chrome, they've got Google Plus, YouTube, the Google Maps, Google Ads, Google Wallet. They're doing stuff in the cloud, and of course everybody's talking about Google Glass. So all of these pieces are software products that have APIs and things to develop in. Google's got a very well-developed developer lab, and they work really close with the developer products because Google is just a software company, and one of those foundational web companies today.
Explain how Google's technology spans consumer and business.
Yeah, so we all know that, of course, business users not only use Android phones and are using the search, but Google Apps really fits into a lot of companies' environments. In many ways, Google's trying to erode what Microsoft has and doing it in the cloud. So they've got their cloud platform that they've been building up and have lots of services that business user could use from the analytics standpoint to understand what companies have, as well as all of those things that the partner ecosystem develops on top of things like Maps and Chrome, YouTube, and all the ads that are done. I mean, Google's one of the largest web advertising companies out there, which is where still the vast majority of its revenue is made today.
Stu, does Google have a play when it comes to cloud and big data?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things that people look at is, how's that transition from kind of the internet and web to the cloud? And Google is right in that space. As we've been, watching really closely, Amazon's AWS is the leader in cloud. And while lots of big companies like, IBM and HP and EMC have competing solutions out there, it's really Google's cloud and the Google Compute Engine, GCE, is probably the only competitor that Amazon really watches closely. Everybody probably remembers back last November when reInvent was happening, Google actually dropped their pricing, and that cost Amazon to drop their pricing twice on their cloud solutions. So Google doesn't get a lot of mention, but it is a real threat in the cloud marketplace. And it could really be argued that Google was the first big data company. MapReduce is the underlying technology that allows Google search to happen, and out of that really came, what Yahoo and Hadoop, built out of there. So, Google is really one of the first big data companies. It is, an important player in the cloud. And, when Wikibon did its big data market forecast, Google had a prominent mention there because if you look at kind of the infrastructure that Google lays out, they actually spent over $1 billion on infrastructure for really its big data solution in under a quarter. So they're really a big player, but behind the scenes in a lot of ways.
What's your take on Google's efforts in social media, like Google Plus?
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. I've been a big user of Google's ecosystem for many years. Like many, I'm lamenting the fact that Google Reader is going to go away because it's still the way that I kind of interact with the blogs and some of the news that I get. But Google Plus. it's a platform that's probably not as exciting as Facebook or Twitter, or even getting kind of the niche market of kind of Groupon or even Pinterest. But Google Plus is one of the ways that you really need to make sure you're getting your content out there. Those in the know are aware that Google Plus has a significant impact on how Google search happens, and there are growing people using Google Plus, even though it definitely hasn't taken the world by storm. So I'd give kind of a mixed review on Google Plus. Google really looks at it as one of the other pieces of its whole ecosystem with the search, integration with YouTube. Hangout is a useful tool, but it definitely hasn't knocked off any of the other social competitors out there.
We've covered Google Glass on our program, and it's clearly one of the most anticipated gadgets in recent years. What sort of impact do you see Google Glass having?
Yeah, so there's kind of two big waves that we've been talking about in the industry for the last couple of years that Google Glass is right at the center of. One is augmented reality, and the second is wearable computing. So while I love to see the memes that Google Glass is only going to be for white geeky people out there, it really is kind of pushing the limits as to where computing has gone. In many ways, Apple iPhone really transformed the way phones and turned the whole smartphone revolution on its head, and the iPad drove. Google Glass has the potential to be, the game changer in wearable computing. It's a great form factor. It seems a little expensive, and the early reviews out from people who've been playing with it are gushing. If you go read Robert Scoble's analysis of having used it, I think for his first 2 months, he's like, I never want to take it off. So there's excitement on it. I would question whether or not this will really get into the mainstream, or if you're only going after the people that have, kind of the love of the gadgets and the technology. As a parent, I, sure wouldn't want, my child or teenager, using Google Glass anytime soon. But it's very early, and Google definitely is, driving the conversation in this marketplace, and is one that everybody will be watching real closely.
Well, Stu, thanks so much for taking the time to join us this morning. Great to have you as always.
Thanks so much.
And coming up on News Desk, first, Wikibon Principal Research Contributor Jeff Kelly will join us to fill us in on what we can expect from Sapphire Now. We looked